Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. This is a live, just in regards to the lake effect snow that we could see. Again, Black Friday, very active travel day, especially in those more developed areas, especially I think places such as Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids, and we're definitely going to see some snow there. So we're going to do a quick live just discussing how much snow we could see, as well as how intense it and how much impact it could have on the roadways. So those of you that are jumping in, thanks for checking in. We have Cindy, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thanks for hopping in. Deborah, hello there. Thanks for liking the video again. We're going to just hop on live here, mainly because the Zero Z models are just coming in. So we do want to get a good look at what is going on with those. So feel free to chime in with questions. I'm going to be watching as you guys chime in. I'm going to be kind of just giving you some updates with regards to this potential setup. HRRR model is just coming in fresh right now. And again, it's probably going to start closer to around 2 a.m. with the heavier snow potential. And it looks like it's going to center itself just north of I-94. So I don't know. I-94, it seems like you might miss out on the brunt of this lake effect snow. I'm waiting for the model to load in, but not going to say that just yet. You're probably going to get hit with still some halfway decent snow. Travel will be affected by this, so you're going to want to keep in mind that there will be snow on the roads, and you're going to have some slippery road conditions out there during Black Friday, the Black Friday shopping spree. So let's get started, okay? So again, this is the HRRR model, and we're probably going to look at a couple models. We're not going to just talk with one, but what's really going to happen here, let's take a look at, first of all, the reflectivity with the precip type. Really not too much going on across portions of southwest Michigan right now. We had a little bit of a burst of snow earlier this afternoon, which, again, was kind of a nicer snow. It wasn't really anything that was going to be too impactful, especially since it was quickly melting as well. Deborah lives in North Aurora, Illinois. Welcome to the stream again. Looks like you guys are gonna. Well, if you live in Illinois, luckily you'll probably miss out on quite a bit of this snow. Really, the lake effect's gonna shift further to the east side of, well, east of you guys. The Upper Peninsula is also going to be affected by this too. We're going to talk about them in just a minute. Right now, I'm just focusing portions of southern Michigan, mainly because I feel like that's where most of you guys are from. But let's start with this. So as you go forward, you can see quickly, and over the next couple of hours tonight, you're going to start to see pockets of snow start to develop across portions of southwest Michigan. Get a sounding with these, and you can kind of see kind of the dynamic we're working with here. So again, this is over the lake shore, so keep in mind your temperature. This little red line here indicates your temperature at different levels of the atmosphere. You can see it's above freezing, and that has to do with, again, the water temperatures are going to be warmer than usual. You have your dew points in the 30s, but you have this really tight gradient between your dew points in the green and your red line, which is your temperature. When you get that tight gradient between and different levels of the atmosphere, that's going to definitely show a saturated atmosphere capable of bringing out some snow along with that, or at least some precipitation, which is going to be in the form of snow in this case. We have a little bit of instability also over the lake shore, over the lake as well. Again, you still have a warmer lake than usual. Haven't really checked the lake temperatures recently, but I know they are warmer than, quite warm, warmer than what's usual, and I'd say probably some of the warmest on record based on some of the historical data I was looking at. But that's going to influence this event as well. So you can see that the bands begin to start to sort of form together into something later on with this. You can start to see by midnight we're dealing with a little bit of few pockets of snow here and there across portions of southwestern Michigan. I know that places up near Boyne Falls and areas to the east of that along I-75 corridor are under a winter storm warning. We might take a look at those warnings real quick before we finish the stream, but winter storm warning effect up there. Winter weather advisories in effect for down here. And you may notice that the snow accumulation forecast for areas along the I-94 corridor and those places had like a 2 to 7 inch forecast again. Not everyone is going to see a chunk of snow, but wherever that band of heavier snow sets up, that's where you're going to start to see a better chunk of snow. So that's kind of the question. Where's that band going to set up, and when it does, how fast is it going to dump snow is what is going to come into question at that point. So 1 a.m. you can start to see you've got some pretty decent lake effect snow right along the lake shore. Get a sounding over Berrien County where another band is setting up. You got that temperature in around 30 degrees. That dew point that is right pretty quickly around in different levels of the atmosphere from the surface upwards. So again, that's just something to keep in mind. But Progressing forward, you can start to see a band start to make a formation as we get later into the morning. You can see around 4 a.m. you kind of have the series of some lake effect snow bands that start to kind of congeal together, and that will influence how heavy the snow is across this particular region. So again, where that lake effect snow band sets up is the key question. Okay, and it looks like most models have been putting out, it's mainly setting up over portions of northern Kalamazoo County, southern Allegan County, and areas eastward. So that's something that we're watching, and I think the latest model has kind of been putting out, the 0Z is starting to put out, that shifts a little bit further to the north. At this case, it looks like at 10 a.m. you got a pretty strong band of snow that gets over the Battle Creek area and along the I-94 corridor around 10 a.m. based on the HRRR. Again, keep in mind, this is just a model, and once we actually get to the real event, this could all change up to that point. But again, we are pretty confident that there's going to be at least a widespread snow across much of Michigan, portions of Ohio as well. And then if you looked out near portions of New York along Lake Ontario, boy, they are going to get a whopping amount of snow. Not sure how much it's going to be, but I think the National Weather Service is forecasting up to 60 inches of snow over there. So we're not dealing with that, but we're still going to be dealing with quite a bit of snow. Progressing it forward, you can still see that that band kind of still sits over this region through about Friday afternoon, but then it gradually begins to weaken as we get later on. You can see that the HRRR model is still loading out to this point, but you can still see that lake effect snow does progress through the area on Friday evening as well, and it's going to continue probably a little bit after dusk, but it'll start to weaken, and then we're going to be watching for another bout of lake effect snow for southwestern Michigan come Sunday into Monday, and that could be a good decent amount of snow as well. So that's for southwest Michigan, and I'm really talking about that because that's the area I'm targeting, and that's probably where most of you guys are from that are watching at this point. So that's, and then let's take a look at snow totals up to 6 p.m. based on the latest model output from the HRRR. We're going to compare it to other models too, because we can't just stick with the HRRR. There's other models that are showing a much lower end scale, but the HRRR does a good job in figuring out where the focus of that snow is going to be. So we're going to go to this total snowfall amount here. We're going to use the Kachira ratio here, kind of get an idea of what the latest HRRR is putting out. So this is at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and again, the model actually has downtrended in terms of the amount of snow based on the previous model run, which is showing a heavier band of snow forming across portions of northern Kalamazoo County, northern Calhoun County, and it has shifted a little bit more northward, it looks like, as of the latest model output. So you can see that batch of some heavier, more widespread snow. Again, don't take this as for certain, because this is probably going to change frequently with upcoming model runs later on. But you can see we're kind of those, there's going to be focused bands of heavier snow and then bands where you don't really see as much snow. So really it's going to be a hit and miss with regards to that. But when you drive through one of these snow bands, visibility will drop dramatically and road conditions will deteriorate rapidly. So that could easily catch you off guard, especially if you're on the highway. I-94 is treacherous in these kinds of conditions. I remember watching news stories about pileups and things like that that occurred along I-94. So it's one of those days we're just going to want to take it slow, take it easy. Black Friday shoppers, I know, eager to get out there, but you do want to keep in mind that the travel will be affected by these conditions. You can see why the winter storm warning is in place across portions of northern Michigan. There's going to be a heavier band of snow that really sets itself up east of the Traverse City area, probably places such as Gaylord. So something to keep in mind. You'll probably get a decent bout of snow out there. Let's compare it to the other models, because again, we're looking at just one model output, and there's multiple models that are saying different things. So HRRR model, again, showing those focus bands. Now here's the reason why it's kind of difficult to determine the snow totals. The HRRR is probably not going to be fully accurate on these on this outcome. Okay, so again, if you're seeing Jackson, for example, 6.6 inches, I wouldn't be so sure of that. Let me just say that. Okay, there's going to be a chance that you see that. Not really a good chance for areas that far east, but there's a small chance of that occurring. And then you can look at the other models, more of the global models. You can see that the GFS really downplays this setup. Not really as much snow, but still in that same area that the HRRR is showing. It shows only 4 inches of snow. So again, that's why they're also putting out on the National Weather Service lower end, okay? Because again, lower end is possible. I'm not going to say that the higher end is definitely going to occur here. Lower end is very possible with this setup as well. So here is another output from the Euro model, which is showing by 7 p.m. Friday about 5 inches of snow, and not really that much snow in Calhoun County. But again, the winter weather advisory does sit in place for Calhoun County, mainly because some of the more high definition models, which usually do a better job, they are depicting a heavier band of snow to settle over that region. So again, NAM also kind of showing a lower end scale, which again, NAM's not really a good one for snow forecasting in my opinion. So that's just, and then the RFS again, still showing those focus bands, which is again another high resolution model, which is still kind of more of a developmental type model, but still. Again, I am going to be basing where I chase off this model here. So you can see that a heavier band of snow sort of sets itself up across portions of northern Kalamazoo County, Allegan County, areas eastward also included in that as well, down to Jackson area. I really don't think it's going to get that far east. And again, if you look at the probabilistic winter precipitation guidance from the Weather Prediction Center, they put out a chance. Do they even put out a chance of greater than 6 inches for Jackson? Not at all. So again, your chances are extremely low for that even happening. So I don't know if I would buy that HRRR output for that. But Michigan Storm Chasers in the chat, good to see you. How do you think the morning commute will be in Southwest Michigan? Morning commute could be a little hazardous. Okay, especially on US 131 areas of the West. You're gonna want to keep in mind that these bands will be heavy at times, and you could have inch per hour snowfall rates. Maybe even if we happen to see converging bands, which is very possible with these, you might see a little bit of an increase in that number, but it's still. You're going to want to take it slow, and you're going to want to be cautious. I think the prime time for lake effect snow is going to be between probably around 2 a.m. And noon tomorrow. So again, looking at the latest 0Z HRRR, that kind of follows along with that. So we're going to go a little bit further and see if the snow even continues on the HRRR. Not really too much. Again, so I'm seeing the a little bit of a downtrend on the band that was set up here on the HRRR. So that might be that could be a good sign. I wouldn't be surprised still to see some places exceed 6 inches of snow, though. I will say that. So something to keep in mind. And again, with another round of snow coming Sunday into Monday, that will probably stack on top because we're not going to see much of a warm-up afterwards. So it's going to be something to just be aware of. So I'm going to go back to this little view here. And if you guys have questions, feel free to chime on in. You're welcome to ask. I would say, yeah, just chime in. Ask some questions if you have any. I'm going to be kind of running through the models here and taking a look at how things evolve. Again, I'm looking at the 0Z HRRR. Hi, Dawn. Yep, had a very happy Thanksgiving. Was able to spend some time with the family, so it was good. Good time. Again, you can kind of see that band setting up across portions of northern Kalamazoo County. This is at 9 a.m., by the way. Happy Thanksgiving, Danielle. Good to have you in, too. Let's take a look at the wind chills, because I guess that's another thing that could be rather interesting with this. Here's the wind chills. So again, right now it feels like the 20s outside. Again, starting to feel that winter starting to make its way in. You got that cold air making its way in. Here's your wind chills at about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can see that your wind chills are in the teens, so definitely bundle up if you're heading out. And bundle up, and it's good to keep in mind that the roads will also react to this. It will be rather icy out there, especially with, I believe the ground temperatures are still somewhat rather warm. Lexi, are you chasing the storm tomorrow morning in Plainwell, Kalamazoo again? I'm going to be roughly in between Battle Creek and South Haven area. That's kind of usually where I play when it comes to these setups. So I really don't, I'm going to take it easy. I'm probably going to avoid the highways as best as possible because anytime I'm on I-94 in these kinds of conditions, it makes me a little nervous because, not really a great place to be in this kind of weather. But I'm going to kind of settle between Battle Creek and South Haven, and am planning on playing some Frisbee golf. We'll probably do that live too as this band starts to kind of wind down later on in the morning. So we'll keep that in mind. But I will be up early chasing, which is why, hence I'm probably going to go to bed pretty soon. Happy Thanksgiving to Matt. Looking forward to a good dumping in Northeast Ohio. Yeah, you guys are going to get two. In fact, let's take a look at that real quick. I have already covered Northeastern, so let's take a look at that. Again, those places on the Lake Erie shoreline could expect some decent snowfall too. This is the latest HRRR coming in for Northeast Ohio. That includes east of Cleveland. I don't know if Cleveland's really going to get that much with this. It looks like maybe the wind direction may not, yeah, you'll get a little bit, but it looks like the banding of snow is really going to be more responsive on the far northeastern portion. Again, HRRR, it's showing a pretty high outcome of this. And again, with the lake effect snow warning that's in effect out there, it's the National Weather Service is saying about 1 to 2 feet of snow. So would be pretty reasonable to see between 12 and 24 inches of snow with this way we're going to have set up. Dawn is asking, how much snow are we expecting in Elkhart throughout the weekend? Let's take a look at Indiana real quick. I think Indiana's going to miss out on the brunt of this. Well, it most certainly is, but South Bend, Elkhart area, again, you're not really going to see too much snow, I don't think. Unless that wind shifts, you might see a quick run at some snow later on with that as well. But, yeah, something to keep in mind there. So, a little bit of snow might. I'm wondering how much snow you'll get later on with that. Because we will have another setup for lake effect snow come Sunday that we'll probably talk about after this initial one that we get later on. Feel free to chime in with more questions. I'm going to take a look at the Upper Peninsula real quick because we definitely don't want to leave them out because they are going to be dealing with this a lot too. Let's take a look at what the HRRR is putting out here. I have a friend that's camping up north right now. So we'll see. We'll see if their tent turns into an igloo or not. But this is the Upper Peninsula showing some pretty heavier snow bands starting to form across many portions of it, including Houghton region, areas to the west, Marquette, Sault Ste. Marie showing a heavy band of snow starting to set up. We'll have to see how this pans out. Again, this is just one model again, so don't take it as a for sure deal. But if you compare it to some other models, it might give you a better outcome of some of the lower end potential too. Like the Euro, still showing good outcome of some heavier snow across portions of the peninsula. GFS is still showing that too. HRRR, NAM agreeing. You pretty much have full-on model agreement with regards to heavy snow output across the Upper Peninsula. The one that doesn't really have full agreement yet is the one down in southwestern Michigan. You can see that the HRRR is putting out a heavy snow setup across portions of northern Kalamazoo County, northern Calhoun County. But as you go areas further with other global models, you can see that the numbers really drop down, which is why the National Weather Service is showing, okay, it might be around 2 to 7 inches, which some places will have some higher amounts. I think there's probably going to be some places with higher amounts, but again, weather is very dynamic, so anything's possible, right? Any other questions? I'll be on for maybe like another couple minutes. Just chilling. Again, I'll be live chasing. I'm going to try to go on all platforms with this setup, so. We'll also be with MSC during the morning as well. What do I need to set my alarm for? Let's take a look at that next setup for snow later on to Sunday. Kind of curious. I'm going to use the Euro. Kind of like looking at the Euro for the longer range setups. Again, feel free to chime in with questions as I do this. Okay, so there's the first wave as depicted by the HRRR, and then as we get into Sunday, shows a new bout. Oh, it's showing some system snow, maybe Wednesday. I'm interested in that. That's what the Euro's putting out anyway. Yep, it is showing that Sunday night to Monday morning setup for snow across portions of southwest Michigan still, but gonna wait to make some determinations on that. That's interesting. Well, if there are no further questions, I think I'm just going to hop off here unless there's another. My thoughts are that this will continue for about a week. Would you agree? Well, you know, let's take a look more out from a regional standpoint and see what what goes down. I think you'll get several opportunities for lake effect snow over the next several days. So there's your first battle lake effect snow going through Friday and then into Saturday. As we get into Sunday, you see that return of some lake effect snow banding into Monday morning. Looks like that could target Cass and St. Joe counties as well. Then you got another system that is currently being shown on the models for December 4th, Wednesday. Looks like you could have some lake enhancement with that as well. Again, this model doesn't go all the way far out, so we got to back it up a little bit. I don't like going out too far into the long range. Safety is going to be one of the top priorities tomorrow, Cindy, that's for sure. I always want to take it slower than I have to in these kinds of conditions. I chase very cautiously when it comes to snow. It's not really a... Yeah, it's something you gotta be careful of. So there's that system that's being shown. I don't really see... Okay. I don't really see it making a huge comeback in the past Wednesday. At least on these models. We'll have to see how what happens as we get closer, but... We will have some cold air. That's for sure. I mean, look at the regional wind chills out and around. So here we go into Sunday. Still got some cold wind chills. Monday, Tuesday. You don't see really too much thawing going on across our region. Okay, looks like we might get some warmer temperatures as we get into Friday, but I'm not sure if that's going to last. It looks like we got some... Wow! Yeah, this is long range, but I'd be curious to see if this actually does verify for February 7th and 8th. That's cold. That's some cold air if that were to take place, but again, models are still pretty far out there. We're going to have to wait. Alright, if there's no other questions, I'm probably going to hop off here, but thanks for checking in. Again, we'll be chasing... how early? Probably like 5 a.m., something like that. And then we'll probably be just monitoring road conditions, making sure everything's okay. I mean, that rollover crash that we got last week was pretty crazy. So want to make sure everyone's going to be okay. Make sure to call when necessary and keep informed on the road conditions. So keep that in mind. But then we're probably going to join up and play some frisbee golf in the blizzard. Well, not the blizzard. It ain't a blizzard, but in the heavier snow. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll be out tomorrow. See you there.